G'day, Flosstube. Just going to throw in a quick segment. I'm getting ready to dye some fabric for the Queen Sari project. So I've got 28 count cashel linen here. Just arrived in the mail yesterday. Got it cut off to size, got it zigzagged because I haven't got a serger or overlocker, I think the Aussies call it. So zigzags will have to do. Got a couple of bowls. Got a lot of covering because I get it all over the countertops, some miscellaneous stuff. I'm not entirely sure how to film this. I really want this mostly to be a record for myself. So if I like how it turns out, I know what I did. So I suspect it's going to end up being a lot of segments all chopped together. But let's see how this goes. First thing, I'm thinking I want to basically put a base coat of my lighter color. So just hot water out of the kettle. I think, let's throw, it's tricky when you only have one hand. So this is the Rit Aquamarine. For the Aussies, don't get this stuff at Spotlight. It costs a freaking fortune. I think it was Scrap Dragon I got it off of. And it was like $8 a bottle, which is way less than Spotlight. And I have no idea. I just poured a bunch in there. No idea how much. I've seen several other people do this thing where they drop it on a plate to see kind of an idea of how dark it is. So let's try that. That's awful light. I think I might throw a little bit in. See how that comes up. Well, it's definitely darker. Let's give that a go. I'm thinking this is only going to be a base coat anyway, and then we'll use the darker to hopefully put some nice modeling in. So I've got two pieces here. I think I said they're both the 28 count cashel. Yow, hot. Use your tongs, guys. And I basically want to get them all more or less solid at this point. And I'm thinking I'm going to need more water, or to do two pieces separately. Throw some more water in, throw some more fabric in because I'm too lazy to wait twice. Yeah, if you guys hadn't worked out by now, half my craft life is ruled by what's the most time effective and way to get things done. It looks much darker on camera. It's like this, the big piece that I've cut is for the Queen Sari. Well, I'm hoping the colors will come out for Queen Sari. So it's just kind of a guess, but it looks much more bright turquoise than dark blue like it does on the screen. I don't know, we'll see. So now that I've got all that in there and more or less covered, I'm just going to leave it for 20 minutes or more, and we'll come back and I'll rinse it and we'll see what we got and think about next step. See you then. Bye. So first lot is out of the dye bath. You can see we've got a nice light bluish color. You know, the whole problem with the theory of I'll leave it for a half an hour is you have to kind of pay attention to when the half an hour starts. So I can tell you it was a half an hour, but you know, it might have been more. So at this point I have another bowl. It's not as small as I would have liked. I would have liked something that would hold it a bit tighter, but that the bowl I'm thinking of is locked in the shipping container, and so we're going to have to make do without. So the plan is to scrunch up this fabric. in the past, I've just literally kind of balled it. I'm going to try and be a bit more strategic about it this time and see what we get with that. But basically, scrunch up said fabric, put it in said bowl, and then we'll come back with where we go from there. Okay, so fabric scrunched in the bowl. I have my dyes. That's the dye bath that the fabrics come out of, so it's sort of that teal color, and a freshly boiled kettle of water. And let's start playing chemistry. So I'm thinking if I start with a bit of the mix that it come out of and maybe add some of the teal to it, see how the colors mix. Given we got a little cup, that might have been a lot. I don't know. Where's our trusty plate? You know, this doing, kettles are hot. Doing this all one-handed is kind of tricky. So, this puddle here is the blue we kind of went with last time. Oh, that's really dark. And it's very blue. I expected more green blue. Well, you know, it's a bit of an experiment, but I think I might just throw a little bit of water in there. Try and make it not quite so dark. I don't know. I guess my theory is if, you know, if you err on the light side, you can always add more. So let's just kind of drizzly. This isn't packed overly thick, so I don't want to put too much in because I think it'll just go all the way through it. I don't know. Now I'm thinking I don't see much difference at all. Give me a second to have two hands, and I'm going to try and mix up one that's just pure of that darker teal color, and we'll see how that turns out. So this spot is just the pure teal, and to be honest, it looks an awful lot like that. So I don't see much difference having used the base of the aquamarine in there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue spooning this over, but try and be a bit more strategic and like build it up in that one spot a little bit, and then pick a different spot and build it up. And I'll let it sit. When we're in sit, take it out, see what we got. See you then. So just a quick snapshot of where it is after I've kind of built the color up. You can see it a bit in the video, like there's spots considerably darker. There's some dark there. Just tried to scatter them roundabout, but without getting gobloads of stuff sitting at the bottom where it'll all be dyed. So I guess this time I will pay attention to the clock, figure out what time it is, and 15, 20 minutes, half hour, I don't know. We'll see what I have the patience to leave it. So it's out of that second dye bath. And this is what it looks like. The camera is pulling up. These areas are looking white on the camera. They're clearly a light blue in person, but much stronger modeling than I've had in past pieces that I've done. At this point it's still soaking wet, and you know, so it's hard to tell. It would be nice if it dried just a bit more even than what I'm seeing there. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with how it's come out. Depending, I may dunk it in another wash of that light color to try and tone it back a little bit. We'll see. At this point, I think I've never put anything in the oven, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to wad it up on, I've got a tray hiding under here with baking paper. we're going to wad it up on the tray, similar to how we did in the second dye bath, and put it in the oven. The plan is, my oven, I can't tell what it's actually set to, but vaguely under 180, and whack it in there for 20 minutes-ish and see what we get. So I'll come back when that's done. So there's what our tray looks like. Might just tuck that end in. I think the theory is, and don't quote me because I'm just putzing and figuring out what I like. I think the theory is anything that's kind of sticky uppy turns darker than the others. I don't know. This is an experiment. We shall see. So I just pulled this out of the oven. It's been in there for about 15 minutes at what I'm guessing is about 150 Celsius. But like I said, dodgy knob, not entirely sure. I don't know if it's showing in here. There is clearly along all these ridges much darkening in the piece of fabric. I don't think it's showing very well. I'm surprised at how much difference it appears to make. Yeah, it's really, it looks kind of blended here, but I mean that ridge is substantially darker than the fabric underneath. So let's pull this out and see what we have. So this is what we're at now, and again, it's washing it out. This looks really white. It's actually, you know, noticeably light blue, but you see there's a lot of contrast here. So like, I like the colors, and there's definitely some strong modeling going on. Yeah, I almost feel like it should have, you know, more of the strong colors or more of a blended look, but at the moment it's kind of halfway in between. So I think what I'm going to do is put it back in the original base color bath we did. Maybe put a touch of the dark color into it and let it soak there for 10, 15 minutes, see what we get. I don't want to leave it too long because I don't really want super dark fabric. I just want to try and even it out a little bit. Yeah, I just feel like there's a bit too much. I kind of wonder whether I should have skipped the oven bit, but it's interesting to know what the oven bit does. So that is what we got. So this is what we got in the end. This is the piece that is sized for Queen Sari. We'll have to do a floss toss after it dries. Basically, I just put it back in the original dye bath, plus a bit of the darker color. I added a bit of the darker color to the dye bath, not much, just enough to darken it a little bit. But I do think it's just softened some of the worst of the contrast. So I think I'm happy with that, and I will leave it like that. This is my spare piece. The contrast is way blown out on that. Anyway, I think at this point, I'll let them both dry out on the line and go start filming the main Flosstube video. See you soon. Bye. So here is the finished fabric. I can't believe the modeling has really toned back with the drying. I'm wondering if I should have left it out of that second bath just so it shows a bit more. It is what it is. But this is the fabric with the colors of that Queen Sari. I think I'm actually kind of happy with that. So I probably will do her on this fabric, given that it was sized for that. It's hard to tell with the threads all strewn everywhere, but there's the mottling in there. Yeah, the mottling isn't as perfectly distributed as I suppose would be ideal, but you know, half the fun in doing the experiments and figuring out, you know, what works best and what gets the result you like. So I'm pleased with that little experiment. Yeah, it clearly needs more of an iron, but then because I work in hand, I don't tend to iron things perfectly straight before I start anyway, because no point. It's just going to get mushed in the sewing process anyway. So that's the Queen Sari piece. Just hold on. Not organized. Put out, oh, now whatever the light from this direction is very bad. So that's the slightly smaller piece. You can see, oh, what are you doing, camera? Ooh, doesn't like that color. But you can see the modeling and stuff in there. It's subtle, it's for sure, along there. But it's a lovely, not that you can tell from the camera, it is a lovely light blue, almost verging on minty blue sort of color. It's great, I like it. So this smaller piece is roughly 18 by 23 I measured. So I thought what I'd do is do a giveaway, because this is essentially just the offcut from the bigger piece that I thought I'd do at the same time. So if you would like to have a 18 by 23 home dyed sort of minty blue green with minor modeling fabric, I should come up with a fancy name for it. Anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know where your favorite source of hand-dyed fabrics is, because I'm always looking to check out some more. Be aware that it will come with just plain zigzag and kind of rough edges. It will probably, I will iron it more, but it will probably not be ironed perfectly. It is a home job. It is not, I'm not a professional at this. I leave the professional for my day job. This is just play as far as I'm concerned, but I'm happy to send it to somebody. And if you get it, I'd love to see what you stitch on it. Anyway, leave your comments below. Do not say the giveaway word, otherwise I will delete your comment. You probably have about 2 weeks till I film my next video, so whenever I film my next video will be when I do the drawing. So get in within the next 2 weeks. Thanks guys, bye.